Today is Monday, the 20th of May, 2014. 24, sorry. I am Bea Kovacs. I am at the Radar Sofia studio in Sofia, Bulgaria. The first one is safety. I felt very safe here on the streets and in the house and in the project too. Then I think I would say lightness. I really like the way people walk in the street and they are not rushing, so that it was like a little murmur of a sea, just like walking with the crowd. I would also say challenge, because it was challenging because I don't speak the language. I understand parts of it, and even though I can't read Bulgarian, the Cyrillic alphabet fluently, so that was a challenge to have this double code of linguistic barrier. What else? Like sunshine, even though it rained a lot inside, I felt happy most of the time. And the last one, I think it would be discovery, because I walked around so much in the city. I discovered so many places and little cafes and locals, and even if I didn't went inside, every time I went out I found something new, so it was a very good experience of discovery. Happiness is being where you are. My project is about being where I am, and that is Sofia right now. I think many of us struggle with being really present where we are, because we have so much information coming at us and so many things to do and so many work to do, and I find it that sometimes it's a challenge to be exactly where you are with your physical body, with your emotions, with your thoughts, and just take that in. So during my residency, every time I went out of this door where we live, I sort of said to myself that I want to be present, even if it's bad, even if it's good, even if it's challenging, because, like, for example, I can't speak the language, or I might get lonely. I wanted to experience all of those emotions. And one of the things I discovered very soon, even though of course I looked at the map of Sofia before I came, it was a very strange realization that the city doesn't have a big river. I'm used to that in Transylvania, where I live, and in the places I lived before, in Romania and Hungary and even France, that there is a big river where you can just sit and meditate. So for me, that was the starting point of my project, to create an inner space, and then to find a space in the city where I can reproduce that feeling of sitting next to a river and really getting in touch with my own presence. So my project is a meditation practice. It's based on instructions that I usually give to myself when I want to connect with the present moment, and I really want those who will be participating to also complete those instructions, and in that sense they might get a feeling of what I wanted to experience here, what my progress was, what my challenges were, what my thoughts were. I think my project is also related to loneliness, in a sense that I am a more introverted person, and for me, the experience I have of the city is very personal, and I was alone most of the time when I did these walks and experiences. But I believe that The written word has the power to make you feel not alone, and I really want to share that experience with those who will be taking part in my presentation and meditation practice. Well, for me, being present is not only a prerequisite of life, but also in theater. I think that we usually talk about the presence of actors or performers when we speak about that energy that happens. But I become more and more interested in what the audience can bring to that experience. In a way, if you like, my project can be a prequel to a performance. In an ideal world, you would do this artistic meditation practice, and then you would go to the theater, and then you will have the presence that is closer to the actor's presence or the performance's presence. In Romania, in the city I live, usually people still expect theater to be an entertainment service. You go to the theater, you sit back, and then you watch actors do their thing, and then you go home, but you don't really contribute. So I'm very interested in how an audience member can contribute with their presence to that performance or show or theater experience. And I think what is different being here than being anywhere else is that I'm very close to home. Culturally, I am not surprised by so many things if, let's say, I would have gone to Japan or America. So in a way, it felt very familiar. People felt like distant relatives, but there were also some little differences that made it special. And when I said that safety was the first thing, I really meant it because I felt a lot safer than I would in Romania or even in Hungary. But I also felt very at home because Bulgarians are like one of our closest neighbors, as coming from Romania. It was an experience of finding home besides home and what that does to your identity. And in this change of identity, if I can say this, because and I wrote an essay about this, that here being a minority is not an issue. It's not something I see daily. It's simply not an issue that I'm a Hungarian living in Romania. I'm just a person here, I'm just a woman here, a living being, and my attention shifted to really taking in the city, taking in the energy of the people, instead of always thinking about what language should I speak, what if the Romanian driver hears that I'm Hungarian and starts yelling at me, what if so these are everyday problems in my hometown, and here it wasn't, so that was very freeing. As for the more professional the more professional level, I think I really enjoy being alone with my reader or my audience member, although I wouldn't exactly call this a performance in a traditional sense. I really wanted to take this experience of me talking to someone through the written world to another level. So that was a challenge for me, how to speak with someone without being there physically. What really surprised me about Bulgaria is that people are a lot calmer. It maybe sounds weird to you, because I also told some other people who live here. I found that they are a lot calmer. They are not in a rush. Of course, everyday problems happen, and of course, sometimes I even saw a little accident here, like a taxi driver collided with a woman driver, and of course, like people sometimes get into those situations, but the average feeling of the city was that people enjoy life here more. I really love the gardens. I love when I go out and I see people everywhere in the picnics and on the benches and talking, and so many dogs, and everybody's taking care of their dog, and people really live in the city. In my hometown we have very little green area, so if you want to experience nature you have to go out from the city. But here, even if you just go anywhere, you can see the Vitosha mountain, and you always feel like, oh, I'm just in nature, but like I'm also in the capital. I really love this. What was also very nice to me, that even though I don't speak Bulgarian besides the basic words, I haven't met anyone who treated me badly for this. Everybody was patient, everybody made me feel like it's okay that you don't speak, we can see that you try, but it's not a problem. Unfortunately, in Romania, a lot of aggression comes from this. If you can't speak Romanian perfectly as a Hungarian, or if you have an accent, it's instantly recognizable. What really was like a culture shock in a sense was my visit to the cemetery, which I also find an important cultural place. Whenever I go, I try to visit cemeteries because it tells a lot about a culture. And so that experience was strange for me, because I am a Reformed Protestant and our cemeteries are very simple, very basic, very mostly about God and the afterlife. And Romanians are Orthodox, so they have a bit more similarities with Bulgarians. They also put pictures on the graves. But here in the cemetery, I felt very disturbed. There are a lot of pictures and a lot of photographs and texts about the people who passed. And I really felt like I was walking amongst the living dead, and it was very disturbing for me. So I couldn't find that peace that I usually find there, and reflection about what is important in life. So that was a strange cultural experience. I also love the trams. I think it's the tram line number 10 that goes through a little forest. I think that is like the dream I always wanted to experience, and I finally did it. It was beautiful, really. It was one of the best moments I experienced here. I think the most striking cultural experience was street art for me, actually. The one that touched me the most, besides the galleries, and I also went to the underground festival and saw some different kind of installation art there. I feel like street art is really what makes the city come alive, because street art is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor or a homeless person or like the minister of culture. You will see that, and that for me is very strong, and it's also very brave. And I really like that people in the city accept it and don't try to always paint over it. There is of course a difference between graffiti and vandalism and street art, but for me that was also like a constant source of discovery, to see, okay, if I turn around here, what will I see? I noticed a line of cat art, like a cat face and like a cat drawn out on a very large surface. So for me that was the most exciting. Even though I enjoyed the museums, of course, like the Natural History Museum was impeccable. There were so many animals and insects and birds that I've never seen anything like that before. What I would say to future residents of Radar is to let yourselves be touched by the city and the place that is the residency place where we are right now. Because I think if you come with a concept, if you try to make something that wasn't born here, it might not be as personal. That was my experience. I also came with an idea, but I realized that I wanted to do something else. And I just really let myself be influenced by my everyday life here. I think I think Sofia is an amazing city. Really, it has everything you would want. Um, if you like underground parties, you will have that. I'm not so much in the party phase right now, but I've seen a lot of great clubs and pubs. If you are into vintage shopping, you have a lot of boutiques. If you are into art, you have that. Like to explore nature, you can also do that. So it's really up to you. But I think the best experience is if you make it personal. It might not turn out as you wanted, but at least it's really you, and that's what I would recommend, to just let yourself be influenced by the city. Let yourself be really influenced, and just go under it and come out as a changed person. Mm. Yes, we have 2 more weeks before I go home. I would say that freedom as a good experience, is a good word for what I experienced. The freedom to be with my thoughts, the freedom to create, the freedom to write, the freedom to explore. Which is you have to have that freedom in order to make something that is you. And I felt supported in that by the residency to show what I want to do or what I want to talk about. I also feel that that safety that I talked about is also thanks to you and the Radar team, because it is a very nice apartment. It is in a very good place in the city. It's clean. It's wide. It makes you feel at home. And I and my colleague, we didn't have to worry about basic utilities that would maybe take our attention away from a certain set of a mindset or a creative mindset. So yeah, I would say safety and freedom, and also structure, because I think it was important that before we came and as we arrived, we were helped by you and your team, Alex, and that we would have the contracts in order, we would have our papers in order, so we wouldn't have to stress about these administrative tasks, as I know that sometimes it happens in residency programs or with scholarships. So yeah, I would say freedom and safety, the safety to create and the freedom to explore. No, there are no bugs.